and gentlemen, welcome to the Pop Art Hunter channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at my animation cell collection, and today's genre, or today's show, is going to be Ducktales. Ducktales is a good show. I remember loving it when I was a kid. The theme song, I mean, you can't beat that. You got the old Nintendo game. You got the new revitalized series, which I haven't seen myself. It's probably good, but I haven't watched it. Ducktales is a really cool show, and I've got a few pieces for it. I'm missing some pieces that I would love to have, and so maybe you have them for sale, and you can comment, and I can purchase them from you, and I can feel even more good, and I can do a video about it, and we can just share that together. Anyway, well, let's go ahead and take a look at what I've got so far within my collection that is related to Ducktales. So the first piece we've got Magica featured with three of the Beagle Boys, and I think DuckTales is one of my favorite nostalgic memories of a cartoon. I remember, as far as a TV series goes, you got Smurfs, you got DuckTales, you got Ren and Stimpy, you got those things. But I remember DuckTales. Scrooge McDuck was just a curmudgeon, and I always thought he was fun. And I would really like to get a Scrooge McDuck piece. So I'm not really. I don't really have a cell of him just yet, but here's Magica and the Beagle Boys. I'll get these out of the way. These are unframed, but these are some sketches of Magica that came with some of the cells that I had purchased. Just some sketch drawings. It's kind of a more full figure one and a more of a small one. They're a little damaged. You can tell some of the original cell was likely ripped away from this one. And, as well as this one, or at least they were stored on top of each other and some of the lines went through. But, again, they're not nothing, but they're not very good quality pieces there. The Beagle Boys were not, the main characters of the show, but I got this one because it is such a big one. So, and I always mention I put in the corners here just to kind of outline. There's a 16 field cell. There's 3 cells in there. And I just think it's such a big cell. And then it features such a big centered view, all their eyes open, expressive shot here. Just, I don't know, it's a really good piece, I feel. And so even though the Beagle Boys were not, they're not Scrooge McDuck, but I mean, they're kind of they're big characters by stature in a big cell filling up a big portion of it. And then we've got Gyro Gearloose, not quite as popular as like Launchpad McDuck or McQuack or Mrs. Beetle. I always get the Beagle Boys and then Mrs. Beetle, the nanny, the maid, the whatever she is. She's something. I need to rewatch DuckTales, apparently. Got Gyro Gearloose, though. Again, he's kind of in those tertiary characters. You buy it when you see it. And so I saw Gyro, didn't have him in my collection yet. So this is still a building collection. So I would like to get Launchpad. I would like to get, the nephews and Webigail and all those. But my most important one to get is obviously Scrooge. But this is the closest I've come to getting something Scrooge from DuckTales. This is just a drawing. And almost like it's not obviously from a scene because, you got multiple Scrooges on here. I mean, this is just more of a character modeling, showing some of the expression, maybe something they could give to somebody else. Say, this is kind of how I want him to look in the scene, or maybe how he's going to walk, or they would test out and test how it was going to be drawn or animated to see what it would look like. So, even though I don't have a Scrooge cell, I think this sort of meets some of that need for me of having Scrooge. So even if I just put this on the wall and I don't put the other ones, it'll make it look like I've got a really cool Scrooge piece. If I put it next to the colored cells, it's going to be like, well, why don't you have Scrooge in a cell? So it might depend. I might wait to display the other ones if I'm going to display this first until I get that other cell, and then I can display them all together. So that's those. Again, I don't have a lot of pieces in my DuckTales collection. I think the few that I have are really cool. The Beagle Boys and Magica. I mean, they're larger pieces, and so they kind of fill the whole cell, and I think that's really neat. I would love to have a Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge McDuck, I've actually had a few of them get away, and they were not even at bad prices, but it was when I first was starting doing the animation collecting, which I've gotten started later in the game, and as I was looking at those, I'm like, that seems pretty expensive. And then the next one was like 2 or 3 times that price, and I'm like, why did I get it at the time? time. Why didn't I go for it? So yeah, I would really like a Scrooge McDuck, a larger figure filling most of the frame. The three nephews, I could take or leave. I wouldn't mind having them, but the Scrooge McDuck is the first one. I not only want a big full frame or a nice large Scrooge McDuck, but I'd also like a Scrooge McDuck in the vault, throwing coins around and stuff, which that was one of the pieces that got away from me. Like, again, buy it when you see it, as long as it's responsible fiscally, but buy it when you see it otherwise. So anyway, that's my DuckTales collection so far. I don't know, I'm happy with it as it is, but I would love to continue to add to it and find some of those pieces that I'm missing. Hopefully you enjoyed watching, and we will see you next time right here on Pop Art Hunter.